First up, about Dani Ceballos. He's obviously having his best run in the team so far, really, but we haven't really had the clarity about his future that we had with maybe Cedric and Pablo. Would it be fair to say that you'd like him to stay at Arsenal next season?
Well, that I am really happy with him, the way he's evolving, and as well I love how much he likes to play football. The passion that he puts in every training session and in every game, you have to see just his celebration, whether he's on the pitch or on the bench, the way he celebrates the ball, how much he puts in, like he goes his life into it. And again, I am really happy with him. I think he's evolving the right way and he's becoming a really important player for us.
So is that a deal that you would like to do, ideally?
Yeah, we are talking to the club. Obviously, we don't own the player. It's not in our hands. So clubs will need to have communication and see what we can do.
As you said before, there's a lot of different scenarios possible in the transfer market this summer, largely depending on where you finish and the general situation around Europe. There are quite a lot of swap deals going on, I think. I think we saw a big one between Barca and Juve, for example. Would you consider that kind of deal? And I'm not naming names or anything like that, but would you consider that kind of deal if it suited your needs?
We have to be open for different situations, as you mentioned, and I think the market would give us opportunity to do certain deals like this, but at the moment I cannot comment on any of that.
Okay. Just two more from me. One on Mateo Guendouzi, if that's okay. After the Norwich game, you said that some things had to change, but nothing had changed, and you've said something similar just now. It's 2 weeks now since you took him out. Do you think things should have changed by now?
I don't know. The reality is that hasn't, so we are still where we are.
Okay, and one more, a more general one. When you arrived in December, the team had a lot of difficulties, and while there's a lot to work on now, we can see that it's maybe putting in performances that it wasn't putting in 6 months ago. What has changed the most in this team since you walked into the situation in December? What's changed particularly?
I don't know. I wasn't here. I just tried to encourage the team to play in the direction and the way that we believe is the right way to do it. And the evolution will be big in the next few months because for what we have to do right now to what we have to be able to do in a few months' time or in a year or so, it will be different. But now we have to focus on how we win football games, adapt to the players, put them in comfortable situation where we can compete the best possible way, and after that the process will continue.
Are they fighting harder? Because it seems to me that
very hard. I think they are trying their maximum. The effort they are putting, the way they go to every pressing, every duel, I think is top. Even at Brighton, when I was a little bit more critical, I never criticized the effort or the determination and they put it in on the pitch, just about some focus on the way that certain moments we competed in the game to give chances to the opponent. But I am delighted at how the team is acting, how active they are, how alive they are, how hungry they are to compete and put everything through the game.
Thank you, Mikel.
Thanks.
Mark, the Sun.
Hi, Mikel. You've got 5 league games left now. Do you think you may be just running out of time to get into that top 5? Or do you think it's still feasible?
Well, it's clear that it's not in our hands. The only thing we can do is win as many games as possible and see what happens with the opponent. But at the moment, it's not in our hands. And yeah, if it would have been 15 games, it would have been much easier. But it's the situation we have, and we will try till the end.
I mean, when you look at the last day of the season, I think Chelsea play Wolves, Leicester play Man United. Is the aim really to get to that final day with even an outside chance of sort of sneaking in there?
If we are able to do that in the last day, I think we would have done really well to give ourselves a chance. But again, it doesn't depend on us at the moment. And the only thing we can control is our performances. And the better they are and the better we play, the bigger chance we have to win the game.
People have mentioned in the past being in the Europa League is a bit of a burden, and sometimes teams are better off not being in it. But presumably, from your point of view, if the worst comes to worst, you take Europa League over no European football next season.
Well, this club has to play in Europe, but this club has to play in the Champions League. And if we don't have the choice to do that, obviously it's better to play in Europe than not to play. That's my opinion.
on a different front, I was just wondering, playing in an empty stadium, does it in a way help the players maybe lift a bit of pressure and allow them to play with a bit more, maybe a bit more patience without having
I think to some of them, yes, when they play in front of 80,000 people, it's much harder. Mostly when they are on the ball is coming close to them, and others need that extra motivation, extra pressure, extra, passion to perform better. So I think it's a very concrete thing, and every player is a little bit different.
But I noticed that even on Saturday, the players seemed quite comfortable maybe taking the extra pass and not sort of rushing it, which maybe when the crowd's on their back, they sort of tended to do in the past.
I agree with you.
And finally, I don't know if it's just me, but when you're on the sideline, do you shout out to the players in Spanish?
To some of them, yes. Some of them in French because that's their language, and others in English. Yeah.
Is that just because it's their language, or is it to stop the opposition knowing what you're shouting to them?
A bit of both.